The American population has been described as a salad bowl, one dish with many distinct and diverse ingredients. This is one way to look at African American culture, as one distinct flavor in the rich American cultural salad. This is why African American studies are for every American, whether or not you are Black.
African American culture is part of American culture because African American thinking and creating and communing are vital parts of the American experience.
African American culture and American culture are completely intertwined. Whether it's our cooking, our music, our literature, our legal system, our school system, you cannot talk about American culture without talking about the influence of African American culture on it.
Something just for you to learn more about families and culture. And we want to look at some of the differences and the similarities between African American culture and American culture because they are important.
African American literature, history, science, music, and religion have benefited all Americans. African American studies are about Americans we can aspire and relate to. Inventors, artists, writers, lawyers, doctors, governors and presidents, uncles, cousins, moms, and dads.
There would be no American nation as we know it today were it not for America's Black population. Physically, Black people built this country brick by brick by brick. Culturally, they've given this country art and music and literary achievements that have shaped the nation in countless ways. And spiritually, they've redeemed this country time and again.
A large part of the American culture is built on African culture, living styles, food, music, hair, clothing, and much more.
African American studies can expand your education. Education is about increasing your knowledge and broadening your perspective.
American norms are always changing, and dissonance and diversity of perspective are necessary to help us evaluate and improve those norms.
Another reason that you should be excited about an African American Studies minor, regardless of your own ethnicity or your own major, is that employers appreciate an employee with an awareness of culture and an appreciation of the differences and the similarities in cultures.
The experiences and contributions of African Americans to this country have been relegated to February, the shortest month in the calendar. But our history is so deep, our history is rich, and our history is multifaceted. History cannot give us a program for the future, but it can give us a fuller understanding of ourselves and of our common humanity so that we can better face the future.
African American studies can make you a better neighbor. How can you love your neighbor as yourself if you don't know your neighbor? Knowing your neighbor leads to sympathizing, empathizing, and partnering with your neighbor.
We live in a world where different cultures come in contact with each other every day.
African American culture teaches us about our mutuality as we reimagine communities of interdependence in new ways.
African American studies are about all of us. Experience another flavor in your American cultural salad. Sign up for Introduction to African American Studies with me, David Holmes. That's LULT 2203.